We're following multiple breaking stories tonight and a CNN exclusive on possible new legal trouble for President Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen. A source tells us that special counsel Robert Mueller's team has questioned a Russian oligarch about hundreds of thousands of dollars in payments to Cohen after the election. I'll speak to former U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara. He's standing by, and our correspondents and analysts are also standing by. First, let's bring in CNN crime and justice reporter Shimon Prokopez and CNN reporter Kara Scannell. They're learning more about this new twist, a dramatic twist in the Mueller investigation. Shimon, tell our viewers what you've learned.
Yeah, certainly is dramatic in that Mueller's investigators, we've learned, have questioned a Russian oligarch named Viktor Vekselberg about hundreds of thousands of dollars in payments made to President Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen, in 2017. Now, the payments went from Vekselberg's New York company. It's an affiliated company called Columbus Nova. This is a financial company that's affiliated to Viktor Vekselberg. It's run by his cousin, Andrew Intrater. And now documents that have just been posted by Stormy Daniels' attorney, Michael Avenatti, those documents allege that $500,000 was paid to Cohen beginning in January 2017. Now, as you may remember, last month, the Trump administration put the oligarch Viktor Vekselberg on a list of sanctioned Russians for election interference. Now, we don't know what these payments were for. We have been told that they did have a business relationship, that there was a business relationship between Cohen and Vekselberg, but the nature of that business is not known. We've reached out to Cohen and Vekselberg and have not heard back from them. And of course, Wolf, this is a pretty important development here in that we have now a situation where a Russian affiliated certain financial company, a Russian, was putting money into an account belonging to Michael Cohen. And if what Michael Avenatti has posted in those documents suggests that this is the same account that Michael Cohen was using to pay hush money to Stormy Daniels. That is the same account, at least according to the documents that Michael Avenatti posted just moments ago.
The $130,000 payment he made to Stormy Daniels. You know, Kara, what more do we know, first of all, about Vekselberg and what the FBI wanted to know from him when they questioned him?
Well, Vekselberg is one of the most prominent businessmen in Russia. He's one of the wealthiest men also, and he's very close to the Kremlin. And what we learned is that Vekselberg was one of the two Russian oligarchs who were stopped when their private planes landed in the U.S. earlier this year and questioned by special agents working for Mueller. That's a very unusual move. Now we're learning a little bit more about what was asked. In addition to questions about the payments that the U.S. affiliate made to Cohen's company, we also understand that investigators questioned Vekselberg about payments his cousin, Andrew Intrater, made to the Trump Victory Fund, a Trump Inauguration Fund, and the RNC in 2017. Now, that cousin is, of course, the same, runs that same company that made this payment to Cohen's firm. So you can see why Mueller's investigators would be asking Vekselberg about these money flows. And Wolf, sources also tell CNN that Mueller's investigators also questioned Intrater recently as well. So we can see why Mueller's investigators are asking these questions. And now we're learning new developments about exactly what kind of money flows were happening and exactly how big this may have been.
No, Shimon, do we know if there was anything illegal about these payments?
No, we don't know whether there's anything illegal. We have been told by some folks that there was some kind of business arrangement. Michael Cohen's attorney has not responded to a request for comment about this, and neither have the other people who are involved in this. There are all sorts of suggestions here, obviously, Wolf, but none of which anyone really has corroborated or has made any suggestions to us in any way that Michael Cohen here was doing anything illegal. But however, it is important, the account that was being used to do these transactions certainly is what raised a lot of suspicion among investigators.
Yeah, I'm sure that's deeply suspicious to the FBI and to the Mueller investigators. Kara, so where do things stand with the criminal investigation underway involving Michael Cohen, the criminal investigation now led by the Southern District of New York?
Well, Wolf, that investigation is continuing. As we know, the judge appointed a special master to review the hoard of documents and electronic devices that the FBI seized when they raided Cohen's home office and hotel room. Now, the prosecutors are expected to turn over all of the information to Cohen's attorneys and that special master. They will then debate how much of it should be covered by attorney-client privilege. We may also see that some of the information about these business deals that we're talking about might come up in this case and might end up filtering into the U.S. investigation in New York, and we just don't know that yet. But the judge also has sent a hearing for later this month, Wolf, and then we'll be sure to have an update, and there will be a hearing. The prosecutors will be expected to lay out a little bit more about where they're heading, and so we might learn some more details in about 2 weeks.
Shimon, you saw the Twitter post that Michael Avenatti, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, posted just a little while ago. Let me read it to you and to our viewers. This is from Michael Avenatti. After significant investigation, we have discovered that Mr. Trump's attorney, Mr. Cohen, received approximately $500,000 in the months after the election from a company controlled by a Russian oligarch with close ties to Mr. Putin. These monies may have reimbursed the $130,000 payment. So he's making that leap. We have not made that leap.
We have certainly not made any kind of leaps in terms of what was the purpose of this money. I think that's why investigators are looking at it. The issue here, central in terms of for our story, is the oligarch who was affiliated with this New York company, and that's what raised the suspicion of investigators, and that money was coming from someone who's associated with this oligarch. We really have nothing to support what Michael Avenatti they're saying, and certainly no one we've talked to has suggested that there was anything illegal, as of right now, that was done in this situation.
And Kara, Michael Avenatti also posted a document from Avenatti and Associates, his law firm, outlining all of his suspicions, all of his allegations. He posted the executive summary, he calls it, from our first preliminary report on findings may be accessed via the link below. Mr. Trump and Mr. Cohen have a lot of explaining to do. You've gone through this document. What do you think?
Well, Wolf, there's a lot of information in there. We have not verified any of the allegations he's made. We've reached out to a number of the companies and individuals that are referenced there to see if there is any additional detail they might shed on this and if they will confirm or deny these payments. I mean, what's interesting and important to keep in mind is Michael Cohen has said in that New York court that he's had 7 business and consulting clients since he left the Trump organization in January 2017. These might be some of these clients. There's just a lot that we don't know. And so we've got the calls out, and we'll update you when we learn a little bit more.
I'm sure we'll be learning a lot more. Kara, thank you very much. Shimon, thanks to you as well. We're going to stay on top of this story, but there's other news we're following right now. Our senior legal analyst and former U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara is joining us, and I want to get to some other developments. Preet, but what stands out to you from our most recent reporting? If you were investigating these payments, what avenues would you want to explore?
You'd want to explore every avenue because it's kind of extraordinary. I want to continue the caution of the reporters who were talking a minute ago, Shimon and Kara, to say that there's no proof of illegal activity or a quid pro quo, but it's fairly extraordinary given the lead up to the election and then after the election, these accusations and allegations that there may have been collusion. It's the word that the president likes to use and likes to rail about. To have money coming, if true, money coming directly from a Russian oligarch who is close to Vladimir Putin, who is now so significant and so much on the radar screen of American officials that he's on a sanctions list, and to have money from that oligarch put directly into a lawyer's account, and that lawyer being the personal attorney for the President of the United States. You want to know what the purpose of that payment was, what was the services that were rendered to justify that payment. It's a lot of money over a period of time that's very strange because we said 2017. You wonder if it was before the president was sworn in or after the president was sworn in. It sounds like it was after he was made president. So there's a lot of issues, both in terms of what other money came out of that account with respect to the payoff to Stormy Daniels' lawyer, and also it's just unclear what it is that the money was for. And I think if you're an investigator, you want to look at all sides of the transaction. You want to get all sorts of documents that probably the special counsel's office or the U.S. Attorney's office has. The other thing that's odd to me is understanding the separation between the special counsel's office's investigation, because the reporting is that Bob Mueller's office and his team have been doing a lot of questioning with respect to this particular oligarch. But at the same time, we also know that there's a portion of the investigation relating to Michael Cohen that's being handled by my former office, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. But it does seem like there's a lot of overlap between those two, and it'll be interesting to see who's handling what and why.
This Russian oligarch, Viktor Vekselberg, had connections, as we all know, to Vladimir Putin. Also, by the way, to Oleg Deripaska, an associate of Paul Manafort, the former Trump campaign chairman who's been charged, as you well know. He attended that 2015 Russia Today dinner where the fired National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, who's pleaded guilty, as you know, also appeared alongside Putin. He's now sanctioned by the Trump administration. What does all this say to you?
I think it says, once again, that there are a lot of contacts, there are a lot of relationships. Now we know there's a lot of flow of money between and among people who it doesn't seem should have had contact with each other, particularly in light of the allegations of collusion and connection. I mean, there are appearance issues here at a minimum, given what the allegations have been, and you query why it is people so close to the president, whether you're talking about his campaign manager Paul Manafort or his personal lawyer Michael Cohen, would be associating with, taking money from, providing services to people like that oligarch.
The special counsel, Robert Mueller's team, they've already interviewed Vekselberg when he was stopped at an airport here in the United States upon arriving in the U.S. What do you think that might mean for Michael Cohen and, for that matter, President Trump?
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on what he said. It depends on if he said things that were incriminating of either the president or Michael Cohen. He may not have told the truth. So I think it's a little premature to try to draw some conclusion specifically about what the special counsel may have gleaned from that interview.